Night Shift Shadows, The Haunting of a Superstore. I've got a bone-chilling tale from my time working at a huge retail store. Now, I won't name any names, but let's just say it was a place where you could find just about anything, including some things you wish you hadn't. It was late at night and I was doing the closing shift. The store was nearly empty, just a few customers scattered in the aisles. That's when things started to get weird. I kept hearing footsteps echoing through the empty sections, but every time I checked, there was no one there. I chalked it up to exhaustion until objects started moving on their own. Items flew off shelves, carts rolled down aisles without anyone pushing them, and eerie whispers echoed through the store. I thought it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, but then I noticed the security cameras glitching out, showing glimpses of shadowy figures that should not have been there. As the night dragged on, the atmosphere grew heavier, suffocating almost. It felt like something was watching me, lurking in the corners just out of sight. I was on edge, checking over my shoulder every few seconds. Then the power started flickering. The store descended into darkness, with only emergency lights casting haunting shadows. Panic started to rise in me as I frantically tried to find the exit. But that's when I heard a blood-curdling scream from somewhere deep in the store. I hesitated, torn between finding help and fleeing. Against my better judgment, I followed the sound. As I ventured further, the temperature plummeted and an icy chill settled in the air. And then I saw it, a figure standing in the distance, shrouded in darkness. Heart pounding, I tried to make out who or what it was. But before I could react, the emergency lights flickered back on, and the figure vanished into thin air. I bolted out of there, leaving the store behind, never looking back. To this day, I can't explain what happened that night. Was it some strange electrical malfunction, or something more sinister lurking in the aisles? All I know is I never went back to work the night shift again. Claws on Aisle 10, my midnight terror in Walmart. It was a Tuesday, night shift blues clinging to me like cobwebs. I needed snacks, caffeine, anything to keep my eyes from crusting shut as I scanned receipts. So I pulled into the Walmart parking lot, neon lights casting an artificial glow on the cracked asphalt. Now this Walmart, let's call it W, had a reputation. Whispers of strange happenings, flickering lights in abandoned aisles, and the occasional shriek echoing from the back storeroom. But I was tired, my wallet was thinner than a discount DVD, and W was the only 24-hour joint in town. As I pushed through the automatic doors, a wave of stale fryer oil and industrial air conditioning hit me. The place was deserted, just me and the skeletal crew stocking shelves. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting long, distorted shadows that danced on the dusty shelves. I grabbed a basket, the plastic creaking in the eerie silence, and headed towards the cereal aisle. That's when I heard it, a faint scratching, like claws on concrete, coming from somewhere deep within the store. Curiosity, that little gremlin on my shoulder, nudged me closer. The scratching grew louder, accompanied by a low, guttural growl that sent shivers down my spine. My rational brain screamed, "Run," but my feet remained rooted, glued to the linoleum floor by a morbid fascination. Rounding a corner, I saw it. In the dim light of a half-dead bulb, a figure crouched by the frozen food aisle. It was humanoid, tall and lanky, but with limbs that bent at unnatural angles and eyes that glowed like dying embers in the darkness. Its skeletal fingers scraped against the freezer door, the exterior screeching like tortured metal. Panic seized me. I dropped the basket, plastic rattling like gunfire in the stillness, and bolted. My heart hammered against my ribs, each beat a desperate plea for my legs to move faster. I could hear the creature behind me, its guttural growls now replaced by a blood-curdling scream that tore through the silence. I didn't dare look back. I just ran, weaving between shelves, knocking over displays, adrenaline coursing through my veins. Finally, I reached the automatic doors, salvation shimmering just inches away. I threw myself at the glass, bursting through just as the creature reached for me, its clawed fingers grazing my shoulder through the safety of the barrier. Out in the parking lot, gasping for air, I stumbled to my car, slamming the door shut. I peeled away from the curve, tires squealing, leaving the twisted nightmare behind. As dawn painted the sky with streaks of purple and orange, I finally found my breath. Was it real? A hallucination brought on by sleep deprivation and stale popcorn? Maybe. But every time I close my eyes, I see those glowing eyes, hear the blood-curdling scream, and hear the phantom touch of claws on my shoulder. So, next time you find yourself at a deserted Walmart at midnight, heed my warning. You might just find something on sale you never bargained for. The Midnight Whispers, Mysteries of the Superstore. It was a regular evening, nothing out of the ordinary. I was doing my usual shift, helping customers and restocking shelves. But as the night deepened, the store seemed to change. It was as if a veil of darkness fell over everything, and an eerie silence settled in. That night, strange occurrences became the norm. Items appeared on shelves where they didn't belong, and I found myself retracing my steps over and over because it felt like someone or something was rearranging everything behind me. I chalked it up to pranks or tiredness until I noticed the security cameras glitching, glowing glimpses of empty aisles, and then suddenly figures that weren't there. Then there were whispers, soft, indistinct murmurs that seemed to come from the depths of the store. I brushed it off at first, thinking it was the air conditioning or my mind playing tricks, but the whispers grew louder and more insistent. As I roamed the aisles, I started feeling a presence, a feeling of being watched. I'd catch fleeting moments at the edges of my vision, but whenever I turned, there was nothing there. The more I tried to shake off the feeling, the more intense it became. One night, the power flickered, the store plunged into darkness. Panic set in as I fumbled for my phone, using its weak light to guide me toward the exit. But then, a blood-curdling scream pierced the silence, freezing me in my tracks. I hesitated, torn between rushing to help and fleeing for my own safety. Against my better judgment, I followed the sound, and as I ventured deeper into the store, the temperature dropped drastically. I felt a chilling presence closing in around me. Just as I reached the source of the scream, the lights flickered back on, revealing an empty aisle. No sign of anyone or anything. I left the store that night, shaken to the core, and I never worked the night shift again.